stinky feet are not welcome feet. And nobody likes being around smelly feet.
No, clean feet is nice.
Yeah.
This is my feet.
Oh, there are your
dirty.
feet.
They're very dirty.
Oh, but they're
And
beautiful feet.
Well,
They
actually,
have nail polish.
and they have nail polishing on.
My children like to laugh and giggle about stinky feet, about smelly feet. But of course, nobody likes to be around someone who really needs to scrub between their toes, right? But beautiful feet are welcome feet. In Isaiah chapter 52, verse 7, the prophet declares this about beautiful feet. He says, "How lovely or how beautiful on the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news of happiness, who announces salvation, who says to Zion, 'Your God reigns.'" And so here the prophet Isaiah is declaring that God is going to bring deliverance. He has brought salvation to the people of Judah to bring them out of exile, the exile of Babylon. Salvation from exile, got that? The Jews who were in captivity longed to hear the messenger who would be coming over the hills to bring this message of peace, that God was going to bring deliverance from their exile. And then the Apostle Paul quotes a line from this passage in Romans chapter 10, verse 15. And he applies it to those who are bringing the announcement, who are bringing the declaration that God is bringing deliverance, that God has provided a way of salvation through faith in Jesus Christ. Men and women are born in the exile of sin, enslavement to sin, in captivity to sin, separated from God. But through faith in Jesus Christ, there is a message of peace. There's a message that brings hope, that brings change, that brings them out of exile, delivered, saved by the grace of God through faith in Jesus Christ. And so the Apostle Paul says, how will they preach unless they are sent? Just as it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news of good things. And we know that some are going to reject this message. Many will reject this message. Many of the Jews in the first century rejected this message. But he says in verse 16, however, they did not all heed the good news. For Isaiah says, Lord, who has believed our report? But listen, so faith comes from hearing, and hearing by the word of Christ. That's what it says in verse 17. So God is calling all of us to engage in his mission. We know that some will not receive this message of peace, but it is welcomed by those who are ready to receive it, by those whom the Holy Spirit is drawing. We are to engage in God's mission by bringing his message of peace. And this is beautiful. It is a beautiful thing when our teams from Life Change Action go out on Saturdays to these little villages for outreach, to bring food and games and crafts and clothes and the gospel story of Jesus Christ. When we give a kid a sandwich that's bigger than his whole face, that's showing the love of Jesus Christ in a tangible way, a way that child will never forget. And then he hears the good news that Jesus Christ is offering deliverance from sin, rescue from the exile of sin. It'll change his life when he receives that through faith in Jesus Christ. It's a beautiful thing when we are able to purchase a motorized wheelchair for a boy at Catherine's kids.
¿Es muy bien, Samuel? Sí.
And help dozens of other children in other orphanages in Mexico and in Southeast Asia. That's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing when we announce through our lives and through our words to our neighbors that Jesus changes everything. And so remember the big picture, the goal of what we're doing. We are bringing God's good news, a message of hope. And continue forward with gladness, because we really have good news, the best news, that there is freedom from exile. There's freedom from the enslavement of sin through Jesus Christ. And we're bringing that message of peace. And then don't get discouraged when people reject us and our message, because God will draw, God will work as we faithfully declare his good news to draw those whom he has chosen to freedom and peace and joy in him.
If you have real paws on your fingers, that feels good.
Okay, let's take a look at those. Let's take a look at those feet again. Ready? 1, 2. Look at those feet.